It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. YK in the building.
Yo, good morning.
Good to see. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine.
Anything interesting happening?
I have no gist at all. If I have gist, sometimes by the time I come and I just forget.
You understand? Old age. You know, it's not easy being 16.
It's not you.
How are you doing, Nima?
It's not easy being 16.
I'm fine. I'm well rested. Okay, my apologies to my niece, Sahlan Ashake Sani. She had a Olima, that's the Quranic graduation on Sunday. But it was all the way at Alagbado. I really wanted to be there, but I couldn't drive myself and my kids. No, Alagbado.
Alagbado is yours.
Alagbado, Kola Road, that's the outside. So I'm really sorry, darling, but I'm very proud of you. Very, very proud. My immediate elder sister's first daughter.
Great.
I'm very proud, but I couldn't drive there. So sorry about it. These days I don't want to stress.
I'm doing good. I've just been pondering on the sort of trainings we give to our young people. I receive messages and people just go straight to making requests without saying good morning. I'm big on greeting. I harass one of our co-hosts who doesn't greet. And she has refused to change. And I keep harassing her every day.
Who is that?
You know now.
You know now. Excuse me. And you just send a message. I don't know you. You haven't introduced yourself. It's not like we've met somewhere. I don't have your number registered. And then you just start making requests. And there was one that I, spoke to, and I said, I can't even help you because you didn't even say hello. You didn't introduce yourself. I don't know you. And she said, hey, Madam, I used to listen to you on TV. You should try to be patient.
It's Nigerians.
Then later she said, it's well, God is seeing everything. I said, Auntie, it has nothing to do with God. Go and fix your character. These are simple courtesies we should teach young people. And if you're an adult, somebody calls you out that you don't know how to greet, you don't have to make excuses. Learn it. It's simple courtesy, it's respect. Learn it. We need to learn all these things and move on. If you come to meet me and I don't know you, I don't have your number, please greet and explain yourself, except, of course, you don't need anything from me because I won't answer you.
So, well, my own gist is that I cut my hair yesterday. I cut it all off. Everything. I cut it off.
Why?
I just got tired of it. It wasn't
I remove the wig. Let's see how it is now.
On national TV.
You can't remember the time you
Don't mind that. She have removed
Take it out.
Now you don't become so.
She's making me curious. I can't
You just traumatized me. Why would you? Now I'm feeling very traumatized. What is this? Why would you cut your hair?
You
I
see,
had a long lecture yesterday. Why did I cut my hair?
Because when you are in a relationship,
You didn't tell me.
no, seriously. When you are in a relationship, you have to ask each other permission before you do certain
for the things
things.
that please each other to your
Yes, to your body. If your husband goes and cuts another part of his body, won't you ask, why did you do that?
Well, I cut the hair.
I saw your
I just thought it was my hair.
interview. You used your dreads. I loved it from beginning to the end. All your interviews on your
The truth is that, yes,
now
dreads
you
were
have gone and
nice.
cut it.
They were nice, but the truth is that I just
got tired.
I just got tired of it, and I just wasn't. The styling wasn't fitting my own person, who I am. I thought it would fit my personality, but it wasn't. So
In your eyes.
in my own eyes.
Yes, and that's what's most important. We can
Yes.
all say it's
But
beautiful,
you should have told your
but if you
husband
don't
first
feel,
now.
if you don't feel that way,
He felt
there's
really
nothing
bad
we can do.
yesterday. He was just lamenting.
was
This is very traumatic. Please wear wig to sleep.
joined him.
Wear wig to sleep.
I can't stop.
He said, wear wig to sleep. You gotta be wearing wig. I can't be seeing this on my head. Like, you'll be all right. They're going to get all start placing that small ones for you. Please, start coming out. Don't worry.
You can get a short wig to sleep. I have a solution.
Very fresh air,
short
man.
one.
To sleep, of course.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
For your husband.
I beg you'll be all right.
Please,
Let's go on a break. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go to the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Zoning. Anxiety in PDP over presidential ticket. Picture here of completed condominiums and other homes under the National Housing Program, Phase 1 in Osun State. Lekki toll gates to reopen in April. Wike Obaseki fight dirty in bid to control Edo PDP. Airline operators to get aviation fuel import license. Why we extended strike for 2 months by ASU. And local government autonomy votes a ruse, says Akeredolu. Okay, which story are we starting with?
airline operators. So following their protest that they might have to shut down the airspace in 3 days, the Oga Patapata Group Managing Director of NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, has responded that they now have given them license and their body license to that Airline Operators Association of Nigeria have been given the license to now import to and distribute the aviation turbine kerosene to their own members and operators. And that, because yesterday they were saying that it sold at 610 naira, whereas the regulators have put it at 500 naira per litre. They sold at 610 naira. They are foreseeing that their license that they're giving them might cost Nigerians some hardship because, of course, the cost of tickets will go up because they are buying from a market that cannot be regulated. But since they are claiming that they're suffering for that hardship, they've been granted that license to proceed to distribute it.
Have they been granted the license? The other account I read was they were still appealing to be granted the license, and they said they were going to help them. They were going to run a test for 3 days to sell for 500, and after that they will have a meeting and have it transparent. No, that's another account that I read.
Tribune and the other paper, and the Nation are totally different.
Okay. I was going to go ahead now.
Yes, ASU. So I have ASU and them. They have extended their 1-month-old strike to 2 months. According to them, they said the meeting they were supposed to have, because there was a committee that was set up to renegotiate between ASU and the federal government. And so far, they have not agreed on one thing. ASU is still big on the revitalization of public universities and academic allowances, university transparency, accountability solution, that's UTAS, promotion of areas, renegotiation of the 2009 ASU federal agreement, and consistency in the IPPIS. And so the Minister of State for Education is still claiming that all the demands of ASU has been met. ASU, on the other hand, is saying that their demands have not been met. Until the federal government comes out to attend to all of their needs, they are not going to reopen schools. So I don't know who is lying to who. If one hand, they are saying the demands have been met. Another one is saying you have not done everything we asked you.
So I think also we need, that continuous communication from government. So put out the list. This is what you've asked for. This is what we've done. Put a table, put a chart. You see, these things are very easy. But when you don't put it out, you keep everything in secrecy. That's where people start to speculate. Put a chart out. This is what you asked for. This is what we've done. This is what we're working on. Let us see the chart, and it's in black and white. Everybody sees it.
The only thing I think they're still working on is UTAS and my PPIS difference. So
but they said that they're giving some funds also. They released some funds to them for salary.
ASU is insisting on their own model. The federal government is we've been asking that at negotiations you find a middle ground. So bring whatever differences.
Okay, let me just take one more story in Nation.
I'm sorry, I just can't. It's the kids that are suffering.
Yes.
And that's the students that are suffering. They're not kids anymore. It's terrible.
So, the Attorney Generals of the 36 states had a meeting yesterday where they were tasked to implement the autonomy of the judiciary, legislature, and the local government. But Governor of Ondo State had responded recently saying that the move was designed as a move to have autonomy, especially local government autonomy, was designed to hoodwink and dispossess states, urge the federal government to divest itself from local responsibility, saying that they are the ones that have, the states have the right to create local governments. They're the ones that know the need of the people. So local government autonomy shouldn't be legislated by the federal government. This is something where the states should take charge of. So he was also reiterating the need for that regional control where they determine how many local governments. We saw how that played out in Lagos State, where Asiwaju then had increased the number from 20 to, I think, to 57, based on what was needed at the time. All right, so moving on to the Punch. Blackout as national grid collapses. FG summons emergency meeting. Picture here of confusion as Kyari's wife slumps in court. Suspended DCP remanded. Jam fingers elite schools over fraud in group registration. Inquest, Sylvester died of pneumonia leading to sepsis, says doctor. Rumored planned police strike fake and mischievous, says Force headquarters. 12 days to convention, APC holds forms, governors divided. ASU extends strike to May. Parents beg, FG says demands have been met. Wike Obaseki continue verbal war, governors alleged betrayal and unguarded comments, And reps, NNPC intervene as flight cancellations leave passengers stranded. Okay.
Please, can I take the Wiki and Obaseki?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't hear what Obaseki said to Wiki. I didn't read that, but I've read what Wiki is replying to Obaseki. He says that if you check Obaseki's DNA, you will see betrayal and ungratefulness inside his DNA. That, in fact, he owes a very
Apology.
Unreserved to
apology to Oshimole. He didn't know it was like this. So let me apologize to Adams Oshimole and say, you have been vindicated. You are right, we were wrong. I have never seen people who are so ungrateful in my life.
So what happened was that the deputy governor, Philip Shaibu, had told Wike to allow Obaseki's, to give Obaseki's followers who defected from the APC to the PDP with him some room, that they should be accepted into the party. I think they want to make some demands. And so they want to start negotiating with their numbers. And so he said, give us room. Our people have not been fully accepted. They want to get to that point of decision making. And Wike thinks, you pay some years of service before you start to demand anything. And so Obaseki then replied in defense. Wike then attacked that one. I better go and sit down, that's to the deputy governor. Obaseki's principal thought, okay, let me rise to his defense. And he rose to his defense, reeling out his achievements, saying, he became deputy governor as a former national president of the National Association of Nigerian Students. He's not just a nobody. And, the role of the youth is very important. And if we can ever think of achieving a leadership position on that party's platform, he must carry the youth along. And if he's not seeing Shaibu as someone he can carry along, it means that Wike is not serious. He then went further and said that, Wike has been the one that serially threatened using party members in PDP, and also said that, you cannot procure those states for your ambition. If you have ambition, you can't just come and use those states.
Like gist,
So don't mind that.
Wike ready for her and ready and go meeting.
Okay, let me take another story.
Yes. So the case of the pupil from Dowen College,
yes, sir.
Sylvester, and the case has been in court. Consultant pathologist at the Central Hospital Warri, Delta State, Dr. Clement Vitehire, carried out an initial autopsy, and he now had to, speak in court, saying that he died probably of pneumonia leading to sepsis. He said when he carried out that report, that autopsy, he was thinking he would see, because they accused that he was beaten and given a substance to drink. He was thinking he would see marks, of vicious beating. He didn't see all of that. Nobody said he was beaten with any form of instrument. He checked all his body. There was a part on his back that he saw like a mark, but that had done way more months earlier. So it couldn't be from that. And also, he opened his stomach. He was expecting to see something toxic. Yeah. He didn't see that. He just found something small, like a wrap of chocolates in his stomach. So it wasn't a cause, according to his autopsy report, it wasn't a cause of beating as he has been alleged.
This is from Warri?
Yes, this is from the Warri pathologist. But the case has been adjourned, and I think more investigations are ongoing.
Okay, we have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take more stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. I was going to take a story in Punch about the police.
Kyari's wife, since we have the pictures.
Okay, go ahead.
So the wife of Abba Kyari, Ramatu Kyari, seeing her husband after the court had adjourned his bail application to March 28th, and they didn't release him as expected, she got emotional and fainted when the NDLE officials were escorting him back to their van to continue to detain him as the court had ordered. And I think in that emotional bid, she fainted and she was rushed to one of the rooms within the court to be stabilized. She later walked out with the assistance of family members on her own during court proceeding yesterday.
They were really hoping that they would get a bail for him.
She was
Unfortunately,
hopeful, yes.
The NDLE was saying that there's a possibility, there's a likelihood that he might escape if they
So
allow
the
him
court
to go. So
said-
they presented like a 21-page defense saying that they shouldn't. So the court said they will review it back later in March.
And Nigerians felt it was Nollywood. Me, I'm saying if you...
It's emotional now. Your
Yes,
husband
like,
is
my
charged.
husband like that. It's not only faint, I'll faint. So
Yeah, nah.
even
So please, leave the
but
Nollywood
you go
matters.
crazy.
You see, the likelihood of your husband getting into that kind of wahala is very...
It's slim, but
It's
if God
slim.
forbid it happens,
But
then
life
we'll
happens.
really have that emotional breakdown.
yeah,
That's the
that's
truth.
it.
You will.
So she's just being a human being.
Yeah.
Please let her.
Being a loving wife as well.
Excuse me. Nigerians, they did not go. They went for the jugular.
I'm telling
Yes.
you.
Let's
they
not go
They went for the jugular.
I see. Then I watched one day.
finished
I watched this guy yesterday, Daddy Freeze. Daddy Freeze has the right vocabulary for Nigerians. You see, these Nigerians, you have to categorize them into different compartments. There are those that are reasonable, there are those that are totally irrational, and there are those that are totally stupid. So you need to compartmentalize who's responding to you. Anytime you get a message, who is it? Is it the one that is sensible? Is it the one that totally, you have to be very
the one
clear.
that's stupid?
But these Nigerians, many of them are.
We're a
Well,
mixed
some of them are really smart.
multitude.
Mixed multitude. Okay, so let's move on. Okay.
Yeah. So the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, said there has been 9 million fresh online registration for personal voters card, that's the PVC, for the third quarter of 2022. So they revealed this in their official social media handle, and they said as at 7 a.m. on Monday, that was yesterday, March 14th, the registration for fresh registration only shows about that 9 million. Then they went ahead to give us some statistics. He said Osun came highest with 638,735 fresh registrations, followed by Delta with 483,724, Bayelsa 380,357, and Borno 336,427. Then some other states recorded below 300,000. We have Kano, Zamfara, Lagos, Kwara, Rivers, Plateau, Kaduna, and Kogi. Then other states were below 200. We have Adamawa, Gombe, Bauchi, Jigawa, Nasarawa, Sokoto. And all of this is just to encourage us to, register for our PVC and get ready for
Okay, moving on quickly
voting.
to Daily Sun. APC convention still shaky as form sales yet to commence. INEC clears 16 political parties for Ekiti gubernatorial poll. Quest for Biafra referendum suffers setback as court adjourns hearing to May 20th. Electricity grid collapses again. UTME JAM arrests illicit CBT center operators in Kwara, Kogi, and others. Wike hits back at Obaseki. Abba Kyari's wife slums in court. And 2023, fresh PVC online registration hits 7 million in Q3. I mean, I'm happy that we have quite a number of people that have actually new registered. That's 7 million. That's a good thing.
That's good.
We can do more.
We can do more,
And
yeah.
So there's still time for more applicants.
How long do we have? Just this year?
I think, I'm not sure. We have to get the deadline when you can have your PVCs. Okay, any other stories?
Okay,
Daily
parties that
Sun.
have been cleared for the Ekiti governorship election coming up very soon are 16 political parties, and INEC has said to them that they should comply with the rules of the Electoral Act, that any party that has any grievance that feels that their candidate's name is missing from the list of these 16 should quickly write to the body and put an affidavit not later than 90 days, which is required by the Electoral Act. And they're saying that the total number of the 16 is 14 male and 2 female running for the office of the governor in Ekiti State.
Yeah, so the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, conducted a sting operation across 4 states, Kwara, Kogi, Katsina, Enugu, by JAM officials, and they were able to apprehend those centers allegedly engaged in illicit registration of candidates. So they have picked them up, and they are also advising people who are taking these examinations to be very careful on the sort of CBT centers that they go over to, and appealing that these people that are doing these illegal activities are actually causing harm to the students who, at the end of the day, their results will not be used for anything. On another story, they also talked about parents allowing their wards to register for the examinations themselves, because what they get is a lot of data is being, misused and misinformed. So people mix up data, and the children are not able to have that one-on-one experience with the machinery registration before they get into the exams. At the end of the day, you have wrong courses, wrong names, wrong profile, and people who also using other forms of, instead of using normal SIM cards, register to each student. They use all these postpaid, I think their parents' numbers, and they're not able to get their codes for the examinations. We should allow our wards to do their registrations themselves. Okay,
I was going to take the story on the police. So the rumored planned police strike is fake and mischievous, according to the force headquarters. So they were saying that it was, I think it was their acting force public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, was saying unequivocally that the alleged publication is fake and a mischievous attempt by unscrupulous individuals to bring the force to disrepute, misinform the general public, and heat up the politics. According to him, it is pertinent to restate that the Nigerian force is a regimented and disciplined organization with laid down procedures to address grievances. So this was a rumored strike that the police is going to go on strike, and they're saying that it's completely false. Okay, moving on quickly now to Vanguard. Gloves off, Obaseki, Wike fight dirty over party issues. Scarcity, we have only 3 days to shut down, says airlines. Oil prices fall below $110 per barrel as diplomatic talks to end Ukraine war continues. LCC resumes toll operations on Lekki toll gates on April 1. Drama as Abakari's wife slumps in court. NURTW crisis despite unions suspension of Olomo's boys in ticket sales racket. Also extends rollover strike by 2 months and energy crisis nationwide blackout as national grid collapses. Okay. Which story I was going to take? So the NURTW, so you might recall the Lagos chapter had withdrawn from the Apex organization, NURT, recently. But Vanguard did an observation and saw that some of the NURT boys in Lagos were still collecting tickets, and they were saying that they were authorized by the chairman of the board, which is MC Oluomo, to collect. But fortunately, he responded quickly and said that he did not authorize any sale of union tickets at the parks because everything is supposed to be put off right now because the state government had suspended all the activities. So he has said that he did not authorize any sale of ticketing across the parks. So there's a back and forth. I mean, this was based on Vanguard's observation. So they need to ensure that those boys are not collecting tickets at this time. Any other story in Vanguard? Who has the...
Blackouts.
Okay, blackouts are going to be our topic later, but you can just mention what happened.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, anybody took, okay, Ukraine. I tried to take Ukraine. I'll probably take it in another paper. Let's go to the Nigerian Tribune. NNPC intervenes as airlines lament 3 days of stock fuel. Let's find a story we've not taken. Audit query, 107 million barrels of crude oil missing. I think it's actually 107,000 barrels of crude oil missing, says auditor. States, not FG, must determine number of local government areas, says Akeredolu. Blackout as grid collapses over the losing 1,106 megawatts. Also extends strike by 8 weeks. Okay, who has any story we've not taken?
So the 107 million, the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation has said that the NNPC, before it became a limited, were unable to account for about 107,239,436 barrels of crude oil lifted for domestic consumption in 2019. He also added that about 222,929 liters of PMS valued at 706 billion Ilorin and the Aba Enugu depot between June and July 2019 were not received at the depot. It was a detailed account of what was received and what was not received, but these were the things that were not received and not accounted for by the NNPC. So
all right, we have to wrap up quickly, unfortunately. So there was a story about consumers to pay more for manufactured products.
Yes, an economist and chief executive officer of the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, PPE, Dr. Muda Yusuf, is warning the federal government not to impose any excise duty on locally produced goods. So he was responding to a statement made by the finance minister, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who said that the federal government is planning to impose excise duty on range of manufactured products and goods in the country anytime soon. So he's saying that right now, the manufacturers are going through a lot of things. These are difficult times for manufacturers. The cost of production, elevated cost of energy, rising operating expenses. There's no light. They are running on diesel, forex market illiquidity, and all that. And you want to impose excise duty at this point. And what will happen when that that is done is that they will not transfer all the extra expenses on the consumers, which the consumers do not even have the purchasing power to get.
I even have to link that to the global disruption in shipments across the world.
Yeah. So
the truth is that even Russia is our greatest import for wheat. I was reading an article which is in The Guardian saying that it says that from Ukraine, Nigeria imports iron ore. Russia and Ukraine are the largest exporters of durum wheat to Nigeria. Durum wheat is used for the production of flour, which we use in our noodles and in our bread. Yeah. Apart from this, Russia exports seafood such as mackerel, herring, and other fish types to Nigeria, while Ukraine exports dairy and agricultural produce. So the truth is that this war has compounded these raw materials. Yes. So whether we like it or not, it's not coming in.
Yeah.
Internally, whether we like it or not, they might have to increase taxes. I don't even know.
Why Nigerians are saying taxes?
If you
say they can't get it into the country in the first place. How do they even get it?
See, this is what I'm saying, that we have failure of governments
to prepare.
From 1966.
It's 10
Why are we importing wheat?
Well,
why?
That's our reality today. We can complain and lament on it for the next 24 hours.
We don't grow wheat here. We can't grow wheat.
We grow wheat here. We deliberately run our country down.
We run
ourselves down.
We have to run. But you see, as I said, we can lament on this tomorrow and not fix it. It's not going to fix. Lamenting is not going to fix it.
Leaders.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to our hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, the national grid on Monday experienced its second collapse this year. And there was a message that was sent to many customers. And this is the message. The co-electricity distribution company said that the system collapse occurred at the national grid at 10:40 a.m. According to them, their esteemed customer, a system collapse occurred at the national grid at this same 10:40 a.m. today, leading to outages across the network. We are working on the situation with our TCM partners and will keep you updated. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience this may have caused, the text message said. So many people that I know got this message. So it means that at least there's information.
Yeah, yes, we know the problem.
At least back then, there was no information. But now you're communicating to us, so we've heard. But this has a ripple effect on our economy, on our family, on our domestic plans, what we do even in our house. The fact that someone like me, I mean, I know we're yet to move, and I am even suffering the fact that I don't have electricity. At least in a few months now, I haven't had electricity. And we've been managing to just say, okay, the freezer, the fridge, we'll just manage until we move and get a new ones. But right now, everything is totally broken down.
Everything,
and we're all just managing. So how, therefore, do we manage ourselves as Nigerians in view of this reality? Because they've communicated to us.
Yes, so we know.
We can point fingers and say, oh, it's somebody's fault, somebody's fault. But they've said, please bear with us, just like they will do across the world. They'll tell you, sorry, we're having this an issue, kindly bear with us.
We know.
So as we are bearing with them, how do we bear with them in this plan? How long would it take?
We bear with them now that there's no fuel to power gen. These have gone up. It's only us now that at this time, where everything is jamming themselves, food prices are rising. Ordinary shower is now 600 for the small one that does not have life. Now add power issue on top of it. Of course, this last week, I quoted the Minister for Budget and Finance and Budgets or whatever planning, that they are no longer subsidizing power. So, for those of us on prepaid meter, congratulations. At least you will not pay for what you did not consume. But for those on the estimated bills, the bills will come. Sorry.
Tighten your belts.
This one is not tighten. You struggle your waist. This one.
But you see how, therefore...
This is not a good time.
It's not a good time. I was telling you during the break that, in my house now, I cannot put anything in the freezer. Because there's no electricity. The fuel is expensive, and in fact, my generator now is packed up. And Brown said, I am not buying a new generator.
Maybe you bought the That's
No, that wasn't the issue.
Okay.
So he said he's not buying a new jet because we are moving. So,
Yeah, so you just
everything is on standstill because we are moving. I said, oh, God, fridge not working, freezer not working, the not working. Say, manage.
Until better manage. You should be a move.
Because we have to just manage still. And now there's no electricity, and it even compounds the whole.
And the weather is hot.
The
weather is hot, Morayo. The weather is hot. Like, I had a meeting with my house members, my family members, my internal staff, and I said, look, everybody needs to sit up because I'm constantly looking at my account. I just see debit. I see credits like 2 times, and I'll see like 50 debits.
That's all.
You people want me to start stealing? Where do you expect me to get this money from?
That's all.
The way you use things in the house will have to change. You don't put on the gen because your room is hot, and you leave your room, let the AC on, and you are in the kitchen cooking. And you tell me you want the room to cool before you come. So the kind of things I go through. You want the room to cool so that when you enter as the queen that you are, the room will cool your body.
On top prepaid meter.
Hotel
On top
this
prepaid
has
meter.
to end. Do not put on the gen except I instruct you to. Because I'll be sleeping in the middle of the night and I just know that I'm feeling AC. And then I wake up. Hey, Mommy, are you going to work tomorrow? Diesel is finished. We need to buy diesel. I know how much I'm spending. I said, please, this has to end. So I think we know the truth. Nigeria is on a break. Everybody is feeling it. We need to start having conversations on how best we can adjust ourselves. And I hope that as we're adjusting, the government is coming up with solutions. Because it will be painful that we finish the adjustment and nothing is done. And everybody's just suffering.
You see, on Sunday, like usually on Sundays we cook jollof rice. So this Sunday I said, let me just do a father stew, you know. So I bought some meat on Saturday. And the meat I bought was it was a lot of meat, pretty pricey. So I decided, okay, on Saturday when I got from church, I divided the pot into 2, the pot of meat. Once half of it, I cut the small pieces for a father now. The other piece, I kept it in the freezer. And because there was stockfish, there's other fish, the kwanla fish and everything. So as I was cooking and frying the meat, my mind like, this meat is small. I don't ask my help. I said, do you think it's small? Should I? Yes, it's small. It's small. She said, should I bring the other one? I said, okay, yeah, bring it. So the other half, now cut down and I added it. Oh, Father in heaven, I tell this thing was now, the whole pot was now full of meat, fish, everything, stockfish.
How Father should be.
So after I now finished cooking it, and I was like, I have totally gone above and beyond what I was supposed to. This is too much meat at this season. So when it was lunchtime, everybody just carrying the children. You see one small little girl, plenty meat. My hair, everybody. I was just looking around, Father in heaven. This is restaurant Afolabi Brown. I was like, Mariah, why did you put out that meat? What was wrong with you? Are you okay? Because now it's Monday and there's no more meat.
There's no meat, yes.
There's something that,
so they will eat. We have to just manage.
Something that saved me in my house. So my family friends that come around, they don't eat from my pot again because they are afraid they might meet a wet piece of meat there. If you are not eating alligator, rabbit,
you still eat alligator?
I killed one of my rabbits the other day. Last day.
Oh no!
Kini. Have you guys seen smoked rabbit from
rabbit? Rabbit is cute.
He did there. I took pictures of the soup. That way the team find it. My children refused to eat. My children refused to eat meat. My girl refused to eat meat. Only me and my husband. I'm telling you. If they even go there, they say, no, we'll do spaghetti and sauce. They will not touch my meat at all. So they have their eggs. Myself and my husband are the only ones eating meat in my house.
See how we just kind of manage in Nigeria. We just kind of survive. That's how our leaders sometimes take us for granted because somehow we just adjust. You know,
and people are really adjusting. I just feel bad for people who are not earning, who do not have that purchasing power.
Yes.
Every day we get requests here, and to help me with this and to help me with that. And I'm wondering, these people think probably they are paying us billions here. The difference between your work and my work is that me, I'm showing on TV. It's work I'm doing. The salary is not. Let's not even make noise about that. But I find it difficult to say no to some situations. You hear some very compelling stories, and I'm wondering how best can this person get something. There are no jobs. Even go and learn the skill, learn the trade. There are no customers. We that we are selling, we know how much trickles in. 5 kobo here, 20 kobo tomorrow. Nobody should deceive you on social media. Everywhere is dry.
You see,
that's the truth.
Okay, let me come to you.
Okay,
You're struggling because you're just looking all over.
She's
I'm
tired.
very quiet. I am very, very quiet because
you don't have meter. You don't meter. Yeah,
family.
The house, we have meter. We have prepaid meter.
Okay.
Shrine, they say you're on premium meter. So whether you have light or not,
They will bring bill.
they will bring bill. And they haven't brought bill this one, I'm afraid. Because when they bring bill, it's 800,000. And now diesel is now 700.
750. I buy 750.
The last time I bought diesel, okay, no, sorry, I bought diesel yesterday.
How much?
It's
Can you remember?
I didn't ask per liter. I just know that what I paid, 100K for, and you tell me tomorrow is finished.
YK. I don't know what you're going through.
See,
I can't relate.
On Friday, I just had this headache in my head. My head was just
Inside.
From the back.
It was just on my head. I was like, hey.
My own
God,
is from
what
the
is
front
happening?
now.
Because I don't even know. I don't want to think. I don't want to. I just want to. Just be.
YK, I slept.
I don't know. Diesel is mad. Diesel, and we are doing house and shrine.
At the same time.
It is mad, and then things that you are buying that were not. Hey God, and I'm wondering what is happening in this country. This is complete breakdown.
Okay, let me go on a break. When you come back,
It's a
take some
complete
phone calls,
breakdown.
take some phone calls and some tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have Josephine from Aja. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. How are you? How are you doing?
My people, my people.
Yes, sir.
Big auntie.
Are you feeling this electricity issue and the economy right now?
Morayo, it's just for them to sell the country and give us our own share. So that we know. Because the tariff now, in our estate, they have increased service charge. Morayo, service charge 900,000. Tariff. I don't know what they want us to do.
Wow.
I'm a rice dealer. I sell foodstuff. Only yesterday, just to bring one bag of rice to my shop, or 1,000 naira for one bag. So just imagine what
That's
people
Lagos,
that is buying this product will become of, because everything has doubled, the price has doubled. So we have a very bad system. They have failed us. Our government has failed us. It has never been bad as this before. Morayo, can you hear me?
Very clearly. Yes.
It has never been bad as this. Our grid has, national grid has fallen to 1,000 something. It has never been bad as this. I don't know what went wrong. Buhari just came with this mantra of change. He should have left us the way we are. Maybe we'll grow from there. They came with this change. What kind of change is this? Change, we are retrogressing. How can we be retrogressing in this modern age? We are retrogressing.
All right.
Instead of moving forward, and they work with these foreign allies to make sure that nothing works here, so that they will be using it here as a dumping site. Nigeria.
I mean, sorry, we lost that call.
I'm listening to her and I'm thinking, it's because our leaders are clueless. It's not because they don't want to do it. They don't even know how to do it.
But is the process longer than we think? Maybe are we being impatient, YK? Do you think? Is it that they're working on it, but it's like we're not seeing the results, the drastic result we expect? Because they will tell you that the gas supply is not adequate. Gencos are saying, "Oh, I have generated enough." Transmission is saying, "What I'm transmitting." So
I was listening to the radio today, and one of the commentators said, "You know what? This NEPA matter has become a police issue. That police should go and arrest them and look into their books. That what is really happening." I'm telling you that I pay 800,000 in a month. at the shrine for NEPA.
For a light that is hardly used.
And I still use, and I must still service generator. I must still buy diesel. Come, what is happening? And I am not the only person paying 800,000 now. There are people who even pay more than me.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to survive? How is my business supposed to survive? Are they even considering, because you still pay tax?
Yes, sir.
You are still paying everything.
Yes, sir. You have
And
employees.
you are making less money.
You have employees to pay.
You have employees. I haven't increased their salary for 2 years.
Hey.
Can you imagine? So where do you start from? So, look, they have a duty. And their duty is to rule. You have been in power for 7 years. I don't want to hear that you are doing something and do it. Do it or show us or leave that place. It's not by force. Leadership is not by force. Leave that place. And let who can do it, and if that person too cannot do it, come down. And let somebody who can do it go there. Because, look, at the end of the day, we will just be getting heart attack all up and down.
Yes, no.
Up and down.
Yes, no.
You know, like I was telling my help when time she cooks, she puts, she'll just fry egg. Plenty of the egg, the oil will be swimming, all the peppers, everything. So now on Saturday, like I had to literally call her. I said, Auntie, they don't fry egg like this. Egg, when I was growing up, it's just small, little tiny oil. I now showed her how to fry egg. All these plenty onions, green pepper, red pepper. I said, Auntie, you are in the house.
They don't want people to suffer after you have spent such money. That's your story is like white people. After you have spent a lot of money, they don't want you to suffer.
That is MM. That is her mantra. MM. Only me. I want to eat food. She will serve the pots like this. Then I'll say, only me.
She has said me before.
Excuse me. I'll say, it's only me that wants to eat this food. She'll say, you are the owner of the house. I can't serve you.
They don't want you to suffer on top of your money. That's
because she's waiting for you the leftovers. That's her own portion. Leftovers. That's me on Saturday. I fried the egg in her presence, and I said, "But this is still nice. Without all these extra colors."
See, but if your visitors come, how can she come and give you bland?
Is it every day?
Like
We're hosting people.
Is it every day?
We host people once in a while. When it's convenient for you to host.
If you don't normalize the standard,
No,
leave
that one. So, see, let me even tell people my own story. So you know, I buy like 2 baskets of tomatoes in a month. We are just 7. 2 baskets. Big, you have bought for me now, you know, big baskets. What happens is they party standard. They now cook this stew like party stew, very dry. And I expect that because I like dry stew, I like good food. I will not lie. I expect that as dry as it is, when you dish it, you take small, because once you just mix it in the rice, everything. They will now pack the stew and fill up meat and bring. And then my husband will look at me, I'll look at my husband. He say, what is that? Who is this one for? It's for you people. Okay, we can't, I've told you, give us very little stew. It's dry. We can use it like that. I say, no, when you leave it, when you finish, I will put it back. It's a lie. I just realized that one that they are putting back, they are moving it somewhere else. They are moving it somewhere else. So last month, I had to say, I'm just buying tomatoes 5,000 naira and it will last for the month. I don't care how you make the stew. Just make it like that. Everybody has to sit up.
So you need to, what I did on Sunday, I woke up, what my mom used to do when they used to have those strikes. You make 1 pot of food, everybody will be fine till the evening. I told my children, early morning I woke up and just, 1 full derica of beans for a family of 4. Mommy, beans. Mommy, beans. I put all the things I can use to spice. I have onions. I put them well. Smell nice. And I told them, oh yeah, gari and beans. Morning, gari and beans. Afternoon. In the evening, I'll make dinner. I will not do anything. When it was evening, I said, the child that is playing does not remember. I carry your bicycle. Go and play. Send them out. By the time it was evening, truly, we did not put on them. We did not put on anything. Everybody naked and sleep, and they did not rise up.
Let me take this call from Adewale. Adewale, are you there?
You sort yourself.
Hello, good morning, sir. Are you there? You're live. Hello, you're there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning, Mrs. Adewale. Go ahead.
Good morning, ladies of views. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I've been trying this number for years now. I'm one of your fans.
I'm so glad. We're glad to have you.
Morayo is a terrible thing in Nigeria. what we are facing now is so terrible that we can't even, we don't know the next step to take in this country. Our leaders have totally failed us. My child just came back from Ukraine. I took time to convince her to come back because I wasn't comfortable. And since this got set into Nigeria, there is no life. She's asking me, Mom, is this what you asked me to come back to come and experience?
Oh.
Even where we were in Ukraine, the other part that there was no war, we were still having life. I guess if this kind of a thing happened in Nigeria for 24 hours, Nigeria will all suffer.
Be in darkness.
If Ukraine can sustain NEPA in some parts, when they're having war in the other parts, and Nigeria, they are not facing any crisis, then we are passing through this kind of a situation. Our leaders have failed us, like what Jenny said. If you cannot perform, if you cannot perform, you step down. Step down for those who can perform to perform. They have found their money. They are not salary earners like us. They have found money and pile that if anything happens in the next 24 hours, all of them will be out of this country.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you very much, Mr. Adewale. I mean, this is a. I mean, as much as we can laugh and joke about this, but the reality is that we are the ones feeling this pain.
You know, you are laughing or you are laughing at the pain rather than internalizing pain and everybody
getting
gloomy.
depressed. Yeah.
You are just but don't
So I have the message here. We have photographs of about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 leaders. All these men put together equal to 4,000 megawatts of electricity in over 62 years. Dictator Hosni Mubarak alone gave Egypt 60,000 megawatts before he was removed from power over 30 years. Failures per excellence. They couldn't even resolve one problem. So 16 of the leaders, I mean, it was really, this was Bajalingo made this tweet, which was really interesting.
Roberts is saying, if I'm right, the national grid transmits electricity throughout Nigeria, and if the national grid collapses, there will be power outage throughout the nation. But when government announces collapse of national grid, some places still have power supply, while some don't have it. Why is that the situation?
Anyway,
I think we need government to respond to us.
We have to wrap up on this, yes.
Yeah, before you wrap up, I just want to say that, oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought, and it was very important what I wanted to say.
But I mean, it's painful that, yes, we're laughing about it, but the truth is the reality is that we are all having to tighten our belts and experience this process. We are hoping there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel, because I slept all night. I was all night fanning my kids. I had to go to their room, because if I was hot in my room, I was only imagining what they were going through. So I went to their room and I was there using my fan, and they were all sweaty because my journey is bad, everything is bad.
Take a bath. Open the doors.
So
sprinkle water.
I remember what I was discussing. My nephew and Madi and I were discussing. So he was saying Nigeria is like a dark comedy. You know what a dark comedy is? Something that is funny but it's bad. That's Nigeria. Your train is going from point A to point B. Diesel finishes. It's unheard of anywhere in the world. Unheard of. Diesel. Why did you even leave? You don't have diesel to park.
Tell them to take buses.
It's because kidnappers did not hear and bandits.
Yes.
They would have carried all those people.
They might not miss it.
Do you understand? So Nigeria is a dark comedy. And I'm living inside this dark comedy. It is amazing to me.
Okay, I think we're
at 60, it's like this. It's worse than it was when I was
we don't have this
16.
Conversation when you're 80. I'm really hoping that when you're 80, YK, you'll be smiling that, one day when I was 60, we used to complain, but things are now better. That's be our prayer.
They say as we speak, Ukraine is happening to Nigeria. National grid has collapsed as is on strike, increase in fuel, aviation.
We gotta go. Let's go on a break now. We'll come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show is Dr. Richard Okoye. Dr. Richard Okoye is the chairman Save a Life group of companies, actually consisting of a software company and hospitals, a group of hospitals that are ISO certified from the US. He's going to be joining us to speak on ways to prevent sudden death, what to do in the case of emergency, and how to checkmate the emergence of these kind of emergency. Welcome to the show, Dr. Okoye. Are you there?
Yeah, my pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning to have you.
I appreciate my pleasure too.
Yes. So we know that sudden death, that's sudden cardiac death, actually, SCD, is an unexpected death that happens, but it's different from heart attacks. So now SCD, which is sudden cardiac deaths, is something that many people experience, just happens suddenly. We see a perfectly healthy man taking a walk and they say he slumped and died. Or somebody taking a jog and suddenly slumped and died. What exactly is SCD, which is sudden cardiac death, and why is it so different from a heart attack?
Yeah, you know, the issue of sudden death in our society has become a thing of deep concern. You know, considering the frequency at this particular point in time, people staying in the office and they slumped and died. We also even carrying out activity, also like pastors even on the pulpit, also they slump and die. So it is a thing of immense concern and national issue at this particular point in time. However, when you are talking about the issue of sudden death, there's certain terminology in medicine that people tend to use interchangeably, as it were. Now, when you talk about heart attack, you're talking about the issue of cardiac arrest, and you also talking about the issue of heart failure. Most times we use this thing interchangeably, but they are not same. Now, when it has to do with the issue of sudden death, that has to do with the issue of the electrical activities of the heart, particularly when the heart starts beating abnormally, when they go to what is called arrhythmia. But in our discussion to do on this very subject, I think it's something that has to be brought in a layman's language to enable us be able to, help our people, considering the medical technology has been so obscured and so coded. So on that particular subject, let me first of all differentiate these three so that we can be in position to know. One is that when somebody has heart attack, which can simply lead to the issue of cardiac arrest, but in that particular case, you are talking about the pipe, the blood vessel that supply the heart itself. And those blood vessels are called coronary arteries, okay? And in a situation where there is a sudden block, even if it has been ongoing in chronicity, but there's a sudden block, complete block of that heart, this time we have a very sudden chest pain, which can, issue of dizziness, breathlessness. The person can collapse. What is making the person to collapse is simply because that particular blood not reaching to the muscle, not reaching to the muscles, also prevent the oxygen reaching to the muscle. Therefore, the muscle will not carry out the electrical activity.
Doctor, it's really hard to hear you. And it's important we hear you so that we can learn from you. We're going to a quick break. When we come back, we'll try to see if this can be solved. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have Dr. Okoye with us. Yes, Nima, you had a question for him.
Yes, I heard him when he was explaining that, such sudden death would be due to a blockage of maybe one artery or something to get oxygen over to the brain. Okay. I wanted to get clarity.
Yeah.
Is it not the same as pulmonary heart infection or something where you have, is it not the same? Or is that what you're trying to say?
Okay, interesting. You know, when you look at the subject of medical terminology has been a very funny situation in terms of the fact that most of us are not conversant with the terminology. So I would not like our audience also to flow in like manner. So that's why I want to differentiate very sensitive subjects. But they are different, which has to do with the heart failure, as we used to know, heart attack, and also cardiac arrest. Okay, because we use them interchangeably, and in most times, it confuses people. They say the person had a heart attack, the person had a stroke, the person has a cardiac arrest. So now, let me put it to you this way. When you hear that somebody has a heart failure, what is trying to say there that the heart is not performing in its optimal capacity.
Okay.
In a simple term. Second one is that when somebody has heart attack, there is a section of the heart, in as much as the heart pumps blood to everybody to survive, all the organs to survive, it has to also survive on itself as a structure. And what helps you to survive is what is called coronary arteries around about it and supply blood to all the muscles of the heart. In a situation like you have in a plumbing situation where there's a block of any of those pipes, following the block of those pipes, there won't be blood flowing to the muscles of the heart. The muscles of the heart will now start dying. If it start dying, this fellow may have a very severe chest pain. That chest pain may radiate to the back or get to the shoulder. It may have some level of what is called syncope, sudden fainting attack, or dizziness, or a kind of blackout. Sometimes the person may suddenly just sit down. If it becomes massive, preventing the blood reaching out a very chunk of the heart, the fellow may collapse and have cardiac arrest. Now, cardiac arrest is the aspect we are talking about when somebody collapses and passes underway, following what is called electrical activity. The heart is one particular organ that starts itself from birth. That's why when a baby is scan and pregnancy, I say there's cardiac activity, meaning there is life. It has its own ability to start functioning. And that's what it functions is that it sends electrical activity, just like a wire the house. If there be occasion where that current does not get to that particular portion of the heart, it may start misbehaving and the heart may pack up.
Right.
So at the point there is no electrical activity in the heart, you call it cardiac arrest.
Okay.
That very fellow can now slump and die.
All right, let me go ahead.
Okay, doctor, let me ask this question, because I noticed that there are some people who cannot stand the sight of certain things. For instance, blood, and then they pass out. Would you say that sort of person who passes out as easily as that has a heart issue? Yes. Is that possible?
Yeah. The fact is, one can have anxiety, a shock.
Okay.
And when you have a kind of a terrifying situation, you release what is called a chemical messenger called catecholamines. Those catecholamines actually cause sudden vasoconstriction, narrowing of the blood vessels. And depending on the stage of that individual heart, if there is a challenge there in such a sudden situation, the person may also collapse. If there is something like what we witnessed in the National Assembly last time when the NDDC presentation, there could be what is called sudden vasospasm. The vasospasm is a sudden contraction of that particular vessel of the heart. If it narrows and blood couldn't flow, the person will slump at that point. So that could happen.
Okay, so Dr. Richard, I'm glad we're going somewhere that I really want us to reach. What is the first aid in this kind of situation? Because even just yesterday, Abba Kyari's wife slumped. Thank God she regained her consciousness. But somebody was saying, pour water on her, pour water on her. I almost also had a situation here on set where they were saying, pour water on her, pour water on her. Is that the first thing to do when somebody slumps?
Apparently, That is, we really have a very long way to go when it has to do with the subject of our response to emergencies. You know, the fact is that it's not pouring water. As a matter of fact, this will be a very limited time for us to talk about the issue of CPR, what is called cardiopulmonary resuscitation. A picture of what happened during the Euro competition where everything slopped on the field. Of course, we all witnessed that. Nobody brought water. Nobody started tearing his mouth open and all that. When somebody actually collapses, you do a step-by-step process in the aspect of the CPR, identifying that this person is breathless at that point. You make all the calls. Then you start the CPR, all right? Which is a subject of its own that we need to be made a national subject right now, considering the overall situation in the country. But let me be in position to point out something very fundamental here. Because when you are talking about the issue of our response, you need to address the fundamental. And what is that very fundamental? We have unfortunately came out from a background. And that background is the background that says when anybody falls, it must be an attack from his suspected enemy or something like that. So if we don't get to appreciate this very value, getting this terminology and this training in a way to reach a common man, we will continue to call it a different name when such instances happen. You know, so I think it's a subject, this is a broad subject, and so, the subject of the process of CPR is something we
this
can
issue of CPR, is it something, so just like you said, CPR is something that, yes, we have to learn. It's a technique that has to be learned, but aren't there any quick fixes? You know, you're like recently a woman was paraded naked because she allegedly, her husband died on her while they were together. You know, probably had this SCD, a cardiac arrest or something. So is there something we can learn? I mean, yes, CPR is there, but what do you do immediately? Rush them to the hospital, or do you open their mouth for air to get in? Do you press their chest? What do you do?
That's actually an unfortunate situation we find ourselves in the country. Because anything that has to do at that point will be paramedics. Paramedics in the sense that in as much as it's not absolutely professional, but there should be a training on that. Number one is that there's a step whereby you should confirm whether this very person is breathing or not, and you can put the person, if the person is not yet passed out, you put the person in a lateral position that will enable the airway. You clear whatever may be the problem. If somebody like maybe a sudden collapse or something that happened around, you check around to know whether what happened to this person may even happen to you that is even about to assist. So the other aspect will be the CPR ultimately, so as the blood can be pushed to the brain. Because within 10 minutes of brain not receiving blood supply or lacking oxygen, that brain will start dying. And that is the ultimate intention of CPR, to see how you can manually, by that very compression, push the blood towards the brain, pending the time of the full arrival of the interventions also will come in. But looking at all the other causes, and I think the prevention of that will be able to help us a lot. And then the issue of the professional training, I think, is something that should be made a national program.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because we don't really follow our heart rates, and so we don't know when we are entering the danger zone. I just started wearing a watch recently that tells me my heart rate. And like when I'm exercising, I've noticed that my heart rate can go up to 185, and I'm over 60. What is the heart rate? For what age, and your resting heart rate as well? Because I think when we start to learn that kind of thing, we will now start to take it easy or know what to do.
Yeah.
That's understood. Okay. Now, I want us to, that's why I said the issue that has to do with terminology. There's this particular heart we see, I want us to understand this. Our heart happens to be the busiest organ in the body, the busiest. A normal heart beats average of 100,000 times in a day. And pumps about 7.5, that is 2,000 gallons as in US measurement, but 7.5 liters of blood every day. Just think about somebody in that very busy schedule. Now, you look at what they call heart rate or pulse rate, okay? That very rate is expected that should be between 60 and 100. When the heart rate goes below 60, you call it bradycardia, that this very engine is not actually very strong as it ought to be. It's beating below, and the cause of same should be in position to be, sought for. On the other hand, if it goes above 100, you call tachycardia, that this very heart is racing. Something must be pursuing it, something is trying to catch up with, should be sought out for, and be in position to be addressed. Be that as it may, because of the numerous activity, emotional differences we do experience in the journey of life, there's a range as is expected that your heart rate should be, or pulse rate should be between 60 and 100. So anything above or below should be 18 or concern.
Right. Yes, sir. So when is the right time, or who is eligible for cardiovascular screening? As people are getting older, is there a time frame that you can start taking this screening so that you know the quality of your heart, and if there's anything you can do to start for your heart's health?
Okay. We don't have to, at this juncture, tie it to the age exclusively. When I use the word not tied to the age exclusively, in the sense that there are babies that are born with congenital heart problems, okay? And there are people that may have latent heart problems which may surface on the course of exertion. Just like in the case of Kanu, where remember having been in an active football activity, all of a sudden we were told that he had a heart defect. All right. So in that particular case, one should be in position to, when young, let me say that it's not so common among young people, except if there is an underlying heart problem, which has to do with the issue of manifestation. This other person is feeling a chest pain on the young part now, feeling that very chest pain, sometimes overwhelming tiredness, all right, syncope, sudden collapse, or sudden fall. That very person should have a full cardiac evaluation. Okay. When it has to do with after 40 and above and one getting older, it is expected, if not for any other thing, for you to have your ECG done. That very ECG actually reveals the pattern of the electrical activity, the rhythm. But in a situation it looks awkward, then further evaluation during the echo and all the other quarters and all the rest can now come in. But it is expected that one, if not, as a matter of fact, you are very, you get to know that some people will be exercising, dancing, and all of a sudden they collapse and die. Yeah. It's quite a shocking thing.
All right, we have to wrap up, sir, with you. But, I mean, we heard you built a multi-billion-dollar hospital here in Nigeria, and that is focused on heart. Just tell us, in the 2 sentences, why you returned to Nigeria to do this and what you hope to achieve.
Yeah, the fact is that, number one, is that we need to change the orientation of our people, that not all death is as a result of this, our conventional superstition. And also, most importantly, is the issue that has to do with cath lab. Cath lab is the most important equipment that should be in a hospital to be able to save life in a time like this. And we are privileged to have a deal with a 900 million naira deal, which we did. The CBN, we appreciate the governor and the federal government for that very support, to be able to set up that very cath lab. That today, somebody that have heart attack or issue that we are talking about right now, those things can be identified early, be addressed. When somebody has heart attack, ultimately, That very person will need what is called angiogram. Angiogram traces the vessels and show where there is block. And instantly, angioplasty can be done to be able to open up that vessel. You remember the Senator Bernie Sanders that was during campaign, he had that attack. He got it done and could come back again to do business of this campaign. Right. And also, if that heart rate is very low, the person may require pacemaker, because most of them in that heart failure may not be able to walk. They walk a little thing, they get tired, the leg will be swollen, they will not be able to sleep. If they lie down flat, it will be as if they are choking. Sometimes can wake up in the night as if somebody's about to kill them.
We have to wrap up,
so
sir.
These are available, and by the grace of God, are available in the country now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richard Okoye, for joining us this morning. It was a pleasure hearing from you and learning more about this issue, this death called sudden cardiac death, SCD. Is different from heart attack, and it's important that Nigerians are very well aware that it can happen to anybody, and we should stay healthy. We would have loved to continue the conversation, because I need to know how far exercise can help somebody have a healthy heart. So it would be nice to hear that, but we run out of time. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, we have another guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, reacting to yesterday's topic on the lady that was stripped and paraded naked in Anambra State, we have with us Mrs. Ebele Chukwu Obiano, the wife of the governor of Anambra State, the First Lady. Good morning, madam. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Your Excellency, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. So we can almost imagine how upset you must have been when you saw these pictures of this woman unclad, paraded because of some allegation that she may have killed her husband. How has the office reacted to this, and what has been done so far?
Well, I found that act barbaric, absurd, very primitive, totally and completely unacceptable. We shouldn't be seeing things like that in this day and age. So we swung into action by, forwarding the pictures to the appropriate authorities and even the governor's security office. And they swung into action immediately. The woman has been rescued, thanks to God. We're working very, very hard to find the perpetrators of that evil action. They must all be brought to book.
Yes.
Why it hurts so bad is that even women are part of the people parading her when we should be protecting her. Even if she had, we've heard of her been in existence for a very long time. Much as I condemn adultery, I do not believe in that manner of action.
Yes.
So I'm happy that we're working on it.
Right.
And those people will definitely be brought to book.
Okay, let me get a few more questions for you.
This action that we saw, have some basis in culture where a woman is usually tested for her innocence is usually tested if her husband should die. And these are common cultures around us in southwest Nigeria. What are you doing, aside this case, to sensitize the people and change these cultures and norms around?
Well, this one is just an unfortunate incident because the past 8 years I go on tour of communities and, local governments to get the awareness that people shouldn't go beyond, shouldn't take laws into their hands. Should there be anything, bring the appropriate, and it will be handled. But you still find people go out of their ways to do things like this. And because we are still fighting that, I know that one day it will be actualized, where people, people's fundamental human rights will not be trampled.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, there are a lot of issues that are embedded in our culture which no longer serves us, and this is one of it. Another one is how women are treated, made to wear ash clothes when their husband dies. What are some of the things that you have noticed about the culture that you are working towards eliminating going further? Because I know that this particular one just made the news, may not be the only one that has happened in that community.
Well, that's the only one we know about right now.
Okay.
I think I understand where you're headed. Sometimes they make women swear, drink bathe water of the corpse and all that. That is very illegal in Anambra State right now, because the law has been passed on that. So I've not heard of it in recent time.
Right.
And I believe that removed.
We know your husband's administration is wrapping up very soon, so you're going to be handing over in a couple of days to the next First Lady. What are some of the things you like her to help handle going forward? Because obviously these cultural norms are still practiced in certain regions. So what are those things you think that we still need to do some more work on? Not just in Anambra State, I know, it's across the country, but since that's your constituency, what are those things you've observed as for the past 8 years that you've served? And what do you think she can begin to do to help change many of these gender discrimination against women?
Let me just help add to that. Are you going to be working with the new First Lady so that some of the things that you have put in place will continue?
When everybody comes into office, you begin to do things your way. So, yeah, I'm sure she'll begin to work on things like this as well. But if she calls for my assistance, I definitely would, be very disposed to, help out. As it stands, it would be inappropriate to tell her what to begin to do. But I know as an adult, she's going to, of course, and a woman, she'll also continue to fight this cause.
But we heard from the grapevine that she might be contesting for the North Senatorial District in 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, that's positive.
Oh, fantastic. So you're going to be going to you're planning to go to the National Assembly. Why do you think... Yes, well, we're happy about that because, recently with the gender bills that was thrown out, we need more women in the House. So could you help us to understand what we can do to get more women to take on these kind of roles? Because obviously, for 2023, we're determined to get as many women as possible into the National Assembly so that hopefully they can upturn these gender bills that happen. So how would you galvanize support for women to ensure they vote you in this coming elections?
My 8 years here, I've been an advocate of women empowerment. Women giving a sense of belonging. Women being, made to understand that they can do something. That occupying these offices are not peculiar to men. So, since my husband took office, I've been doing a lot of things to empower the indigent women. I've been built houses for over 28 women, built boreholes, in the spirit of, boosting the hygiene of the state. I've built boreholes in so many places, as well as restrooms in market places. All other things that I've been able to do to, maintain the dignity of women and, elevate, try to bring them higher than where they think they belong. And let them know that you don't leave things just for the men. You have to come out there and do something. When my husband was in the banking industry, I was in the oil industry. I was working with NNPC. So if your man can go out there and work and make money, be the breadwinner, what stops you from doing that? All you need to do is hold it up, come out there because you have something in your head. Come out there and give it to people.
Okay.
You make your presence felt. I'm so sad that when it comes to going to the assembly, in fact, everything
Right. Okay.
about Nigeria, women are rarely involved in it. That's why I am taking the bold step to go out there and let them know that the voice of women should count.
Okay, let me get a few more questions before we wrap up. Go ahead.
Okay, for some of us, it's not about women just getting into the house. It's about women making pushing for life-changing bills that will be better for everyone. And we hear the women who are in the house, we don't see that push for those sort of bills that stand them out. How do you think you can make a difference if you get in?
Well, you must have known that I'm a very vocal woman. I say things the way they are. And I'm around politicians, they think I'm too tall. And some of them even named me substantive governor. So when I get in there, I fight for the less privileged,
right.
the vulnerable. So if I go there, I'm going to be able to speak out for them,
right.
Find those things that are there that belongs to my territorial zone, as well as Anambra, and ensure that those things come home. Most of the people there sadly don't talk, they don't even do anything.
Right.
Or they're interested in getting the constituency fund and pocketing those.
Right.
That would not happen if I get there.
All right, because we're running out of time. Because we're running out of time, let me just come back to this issue with the young lady. So, talking about fighting for the less privileged. Now, this woman has been disgraced, embarrassed, her face is in the public. She's been disgraced, obviously. I mean, what can be done? As I said, I know you're outgoing, but what can we do to protect her interests, to protect her image, so she can go back to her normal life? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen to her. I mean, what's going to happen to her, pretty much? I know you said the police on top of this matter, but in your view, what should happen to this young lady who has just been openly disgraced and paraded?
It's a terrible situation, but please mind you that even if I'm living as the governor's wife, my NGO still runs. So I'm going to get this woman, empower her, and make sure that she's properly rehabilitated into the society by giving her, if she's not trained, if she doesn't have any knowledge of anything, or she doesn't have anything to do with, I will ensure that she's trained and empowered to begin to lead a normal life. Give that environment. And then begin her life again.
So
definitely help her. Despite the fact that
okay,
you haven't met her yet.
Yeah.
No, I have not met her yet because we don't want her to be safe at the moment. She's still very traumatized, mind you. She didn't see it coming. That even her fellow women, that's the most annoying and painful aspect of it. It's the fact that women don't support women. That's why we're lagging behind in so many things.
Many of us are from
I will take very good care of it.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that. Many of us outside Anambra State are pretty looking forward to the new administration. You know, we're pretty excited about all that's happening. We don't know I don't know who the new first lady is going to be, but it would be nice to also meet her. But what are your hopes as you leave Anambra? What are your dreams for Anambra State? Because everybody's saying Anambra is a new big thing. You know, they're planning. They have a 2070 vision. They have these plans to, to become a mega city. To do so many things. What are your dreams as you leave this administration right now?
My dream is that Anambra grows from strength to strength. My husband has worked so hard to leave a lot of things in place to better the lot of India Anambra. He has made Anambra oil producing, thanks to Mr. President. So now we begin to get that derivation, 30% derivation. And it will go a long way in building the new Anambra. We have an airport that will generate IGR. We have the convention center. We have all manner of investments thanks to Dr. Willie Obiano, the current governor of Anambra State. So I have no doubt in my mind that his choice of candidate, somebody that is going to be sworn in next tomorrow, they have less than 24 hours, to bring in a new governor on board. Totally, I am very convinced that he will, keep the ground running by starting from where Willie Obiano stopped.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam. We'll be speaking with the First Lady, the outgoing First Lady of Anambra State, Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano. It's such a pleasure having you on the show. We're pretty excited for Anambra State. We're looking forward. I'm personally looking forward. I know the ladies are also looking forward to it because Governor Soludo coming in, he seems like a very, very thoroughbred technocrat who's excited to take on this leadership. So, but see, let's not get too excited. That's how we get excited and something happens and then something happens. So we'll give him the first 100 days and see how it happens. But we'll see how it goes. We're monitoring Anambra State very closely to see what's going to happen the next 100 days. All right, that's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.